I teach a course called Vienna Memory in the City, which is a study abroad course, a Master course in Vienna, Austria. And I like to go to the Ransom Center with this class as a way to study the materials for the movie The Third Man, which is an important part of the course.
I never knew the old Vienna before the war with its Strauss music, its glamour and easy charm. Constantinople suited me better. I really got to know it in the classic period of the black market.
In 1948, the British producer Alexander Korda contacted Graham Greene to write a screenplay for a film to be set in post-war Europe. Greene was a novelist, didn't really know how to write a screenplay, so the first thing he did was write a novel, and then that was translated into the screenplay, which becomes The Third Man. It's often seen to be one of the great British films of all time, and certainly one of the great film noir movies ever made. One of the reasons that it's great to teach The Third Man from the Ransom Center materials is that you get to draw from 3 different collections. The David Selznick collection for The Third Man includes movie stills, early drafts of the script, notes from meetings, memos in which he talks about why the screenplay should go in a certain direction, letters to people, why he does not think Orson Welles is the best person for this, other memos describing the financial ruin that the film would put him in. And by looking at all of these different elements, along with Graham Greene's papers and Magnum photos, we can put together a pretty good sense of how the movie was made. Once involved, David Selznick played a major role in making this movie. He wasn't just providing actors and capital. In August 1948, the director, Carol Reed, and the screenplay writer, Graham Greene, traveled to California to meet with David Selznick. And during those meetings, Selznick had a lot to say about what this movie should look like. A couple things that he was especially concerned about, to make sure that the character of Anna, the principal woman in the film, was given more character. It wasn't just a stock figure. Another thing he wanted to make sure was clear was the American involvement in post-war Vienna as the distributor of the film to American audiences. He wanted to, as an American patriot, as he put it, make sure that Americans are shown to be in a more complex, true light.
Now the city, it's divided into 4 zones, each occupied by a power, the American, the British, the Russian, and the French. But the center of the city, that's international, policed by an international patrol, one member of each of the 4 powers.
And this map is really interesting. This was made by Carol Reed for the film. It helped him and the actors and the crew understand better Vienna's crazy situation after the war. Divided between the Soviets, the French, the British, and the Americans into different sectors. American audiences, British audiences could make sense of a place that was so divided. And this map was Reed's way of understanding a situation that was confusing but was central to the making of the movie. One of the great things about reading in the archive is that you see Selznick's important role in changing the very beginning of the movie. So he wanted to have a series of short vignettes that showed Vienna in all its bombed out ruins and its tumultuous situation that led to murders, and show there's even a body floating in the river. This is Selznick's idea. He wanted to make sure the beginning you were not only drawn into the story, but you understood something about the difficult political situation of post-war Vienna. And so we have beautiful photographs, black and white photographs taken on location, and a wonderful photograph of the actors and the director in a traditional Viennese wine tavern called a Heurigen. And it was probably in a Heurigen that they first heard the zither music, and that, of course, becomes the great theme music for the entire movie. The course that I'm teaching is an urban history course. We want to understand not only the history of Vienna, but how that history is remembered. And so therefore I think it's really important to see not only the beautiful Vienna that my students will when they walk the streets this summer, but also to try to get a sense of what the city was like at this really difficult time after World War II. What past do we remember? What past do we forget? And this film, in many ways, is not easy to watch in Vienna because it brings up memories that are difficult for people. My students, I feel, need to understand something about what those feelings are like for people to be living in post-war Vienna, and people in Vienna today to look at those images of a time that, in many ways, they would just as soon forget.